YouTube fan, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on, man? Double tap that screen. We in the building. I need those likes. Let's get them likes up. Let me see where we at. Double tap that screen when you come into the live, please. Please, please, please. Smash that like button, y'all. We got news. We got news. Let me go ahead and get this over to my peoples at Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. Smash that like button, y'all. Y'all know what it is, man. This is the place where we expose what's really, really, really going on. Not the fake shit, not the propaganda, not the things that you want to believe, but the things that are actually happening. And not only that, but we're going to tell you what the hell it means. We're going to tell you what it means. We're not just going to give you a bunch of little fluff. So make sure you double tap that screen, smash that like button, and subscribe to the channel, man. Open Eyes Media. Let's get to it. All right, so we got to get back. Clear all. Double tap that screen, y'all. Double tap that screen. Smash that like button. And we're going to get this thing started. Welcome to the channel, y'all. Welcome to the channel. Pitbull, I'm waiting on you, Pit.
Yeah, Trump's going to get indicted by the blue states. Yes! Here's the deal. He has totally messed up over the last, particularly 6 months of his 18 months of rule as the king. And what I tell you is context, what it means to us as liberals, not just news. You can do news anywhere, but you can't get context and perspective anywhere. You get it right here. So here's the deal. He has walked himself... He has walked himself closer and closer to indictment, closer and closer in 3 ways. The third way is the deportations, kicking people out through, of course, ICE and other things. But I don't think that's going to hit him directly. There's too many other people in front of him to hit that, like Kristi Noem, Tom Homan, Greg Bovino. Anybody, there's a ton of lists. And Stephen Miller almost went to jail 5 times through Judge Boasberg and Judge Zinnes. So that ain't going to be the immediate low-hanging fruit that gets picked up. The 2 that's going to get him is going to be, and I'm going to tell you right now, before you jump out and say, well, J.D. Vance will pardon him. Or no, and he'll pardon himself. He can't. I don't know if you know that, but he can't. So that ain't about to happen. Just keep listening. So here's the deal. Because states who convict cannot be pardoned. People who are convicted by the state can't be pardoned by the president. Did you know that? Well, now you know. So when I say the indictment, they're in trouble. Here's the thing. Epstein and this grifting corruption by the tens of billions is going to catch him up, get him in trouble. So let's talk Epstein and give you a pathway to not just his impeachment, but a pathway to what happens after he's out of office. That's why I want him to live. I don't want him to die. I want him to bleed out. So put bleed out in the comments, bleed out, so he can destroy the GOP party so we never have to go through this again. We got to vote every 2 years to make sure this never happens again. It's like taking inoculation so you don't get measles, don't get polio or COVID or something. You got to take it, whether you like that sort of thing or not. Your inoculation for democracy is showing up like your life depends on it for the next 2 years, for the rest of your life. Real talk. Because let me tell you, if you don't think they're coming for us, before I go into these things, into this Epstein path and the corruption path that'll get them through the states and the feds, here's the deal. Right here, Medicaid, Medicare, Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. Do you know 4 million people don't have it right now? They estimate 50,000 will die within this year because they don't have the ACA benefits. And then you got veterans benefits, and you got Social Security, which is in trouble because the trustees already said by 2032 they're going to be depleted. Now, I trust what they say because they're independent and they got nothing to do with that. But what we do know with those trustees is that in this scenario, we're in a country where they print more money. That's why I tell people don't give a damn about the national debt. We've had national debt for 250 years, y'all. We have. Worry about your debt. What about your debt? They'll have debt long after we here. Make sure your shit taken care of, okay? Here's the other thing I want you to understand. I'm going to talk about debt in a minute. Really interesting thing about loans that Trump's making a lot of money with under the table that'll get him in trouble. Here's the real thing. When we talk about Epstein.
Big sale on Shine. Big discounts. You can get one. This item is hot sale now. 1,000 plus sold. What are you waiting for?
Epstein can get him kicked out of office. But the corruption can do so too. The goal with the feds is to get him kicked out of office. Not only impeached, because he's been impeached twice. So fuck it, let's get him impeached 3 times. And this time around, we get 67 senators. We got 45 right now. I think we're going to get the majority of the Senate majority out of 100. I think we'll get somewhere around between 51 and 55. We're not going to get all 22 Republican spots. It's not going to happen. That would be a pipe dream. That would be wonderful. But the reality is, if we can get an extra 6 to 10 spots, that would be a major win. Major.
Smash that like button when y'all coming to the live, man. You already know it's definitely going down. We bring you the truth. We're going to bring you some things that you didn't know, and we're going to tell you what it means on this channel. So smash that like button. Let's go.
Okay? And here's the thing. With the majority from the blue, that's why you got to show up in those polls, y'all. The majority blue, that's where the indictments are going to come down. They've already said it. Who? Trump, Mike Johnson, Steve Bannon, Steve Miller, all of them are afraid because the indictments, it's already, J.D. Vance has said it. I mean, they already know. They already know that what's going to happen a mile away with the Democrats. Democrats already have subcommittees set up. They've had people who are very intelligent in finding information out of the intelligence community. I'm the only one online even talking about that openly. Okay? I don't know who specifically where. That's the only reason I ain't disappeared or something. But I'm trying to tell you, I know. And you now know that they're getting information to the subcommittees. We get a Democratic majority in the House and the Senate. They're going to come for that ass from January 3rd on. The 120th Congress is about to whip ass. And what's going to happen? Impeachment, but also getting him kicked out over his health, over his corruption, over his Epstein involvement. Now, once he's kicked out, that leaves him no longer with immunity. And who's going to come for that ass? The states. The states are going to indict him, starting with Letitia James. That Epstein shit happened in Florida and New York, and he's in trouble. And she, boy, she gonna, oh, it's gonna be on. The other thing that's going to happen is this corruption, because the corruption affected the states as well. And they can go after them. They can go after him. They can come after him. The indictment is on. It is on, baby. It is on. Go for it. Here's the other thing to understand. Depending on the situation, someone like Minnesota or here in Illinois, out in California, where there's been just some egregious shit happening with this ICE movement, they can go after him. They can go after him. They can get his ass. And, you know, of course, Letitia James in New York could get him. But let me tell you, she's got lower hanging fruit with the Epstein stuff. There's enough to get this guy indicted and kicked the fuck out. Not only, get him impeached and kicked the fuck out, but not only that, the states come after him and there's nobody to pardon him. That's how it's going down. You know, I've been pretty good at predicting things. The haters come in and say, you don't predict nothing, you don't know nothing. But obviously, I do. There's a lot of shit that holds weight that I've said that's going to happen is going to happen. Like right now, we're in July, right? Next president of the United States is going to be Kamala Harris. The only way she doesn't become Kamala Harris is if she doesn't run, okay? Next one's going to be Kamala Harris. She wants it bad. And she's got the credentials. She had, you know, people were used to voting for her. By the tens of millions. So I'm not saying it's going to be an easy walk because she's still a black Indian woman married to a Jew. But still, and that's the main reason I think many of them didn't vote for her. But let me tell you, when she comes in, there's going to be a new DOJ. You get somebody like Jack Smith, who's gangster. You get somebody like Letitia, who's gangster. Some have said Jasmine Crockett, who's gangster. Idea is you get some gangsters in there who ain't playing about searching for shit to get your ass. It's gonna get interesting. It's gonna get real interesting, baby. Real interesting. Real interesting. And I want all of you to know. I want all of you to understand very clearly. With her in, and us still having a Democratic majority, even in 2028.
Hey man, this live stream is to debate, touch and agree, whatever the case may be, man. Let your comments be felt in the comment section. Let's get it.
In the House and in the Senate spells doom for Trump. But even if he by then he may be out of office, because next year he could be impeached. And he could be out.
I think we can go ahead and lock it down and say it's about 80 to 85% that he will be impeached. And I believe that percentage is growing. So, yeah, let me know. How likely do you think it is that he gets impeached? Because it's being brought to the floor right now.
Out. Not to mention the war stuff. I didn't even mention Iran. You know, just world crimes. Just crazy. But, and Hegseth's going to get in big trouble over that. Beer's breath in trouble over that. But understand this scenario is going to get deep, okay? Just hang in there. We're going to make it through this. Make sure that you go to my homepage and binge watch my last 7 to 10 videos, okay? And make sure that you see what's going on, because we're going to make it through this. And those blue states are coming for Trump's ass through that indictment.
Total Battle. Play now for free.
When I got a pay cut, Dave helped me get cash. Up to $500 in 5 minutes or less. I definitely use Dave to pay bills in advance. I can also eat pizza and go roller skating and enjoy life. Download Dave today.
I stand by my decisions as special counsel, including the decision to bring charges against President Trump. Our investigation developed proof beyond a reasonable doubt that President Trump engaged in criminal activity. If asked whether to prosecute a former president based on the same facts today, I would do so regardless of whether that president was a Democrat or a Republican. No one should be above the law in this country, and the law required that he be held to account, so that is what I did.
Hi again, everybody. It's now 5 o'clock here in Washington, D.C. This show, Deadline White House, debuted the day that Donald Trump fired Jim Comey. He fired him for refusing to look the other way in the Mike Flynn case, among other actions that Donald Trump viewed as annoying and disloyal. Since that first broadcast, we have endeavored to chronicle Donald Trump's vicious war against the rule of law in our country. And no one understands what Trump's attacks against the rule of law look like better than that man, former special counsel Jack Smith. So much of what we know about Donald Trump's efforts to undo his defeat in the 2020 presidential election against Joe Biden and his mishandling of some of the country's most sensitive national security secrets is because of the tireless work of Jack Smith and his team. More than anyone else in the country, he represented a threat to Donald Trump because he followed the facts and they led him deep inside Donald Trump's government and political coalition. The facts revealed crimes, and those crimes were serious enough to represent a very real risk of conviction at trial for Donald Trump. That's the standard to indict somebody. And because of that fact, Donald Trump has called Jack Smith horrible things: a quote thug, a scoundrel, a criminal, and a sick man. And we could actually go on, but we don't want to waste our time that way. Trump has threatened to prosecute him. And Jack Smith has made clear that he was just doing his job. He would do it all over again if given the chance. In his letter to Attorney General Merrick Garland, delivering his final report, he writes this, quote, "The claim from Mr. Trump that my decisions as a prosecutor were influenced or directed by the Biden administration or other political actors is, in a word, laughable. While we were not able to bring the cases we charged to trial, I believe the fact that our team stood up for the rule of law matters. I believe the example our team set for others to fight for justice without regard for the personal costs matters. The facts, as we uncovered them in our investigation and as we set forth in my report, matter." That's where we start the hour. Joining us for his first interview, former special counsel Jack Smith. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me.
I asked you this when you walked in, and I'll ask you, how weird is it to view it as part of your service to tell the story of the investigations you led?
Yeah, well, I was a career prosecutor. I worked in the Justice Department and other prosecutors' offices for near on 30 years. And I don't know if your viewers know this, but I worked in Republican and Democratic administrations over and over. I was the acting U.S. attorney in the first Trump administration in Nashville, Tennessee. And that administration appointed me to a position running a war crimes tribunal for the State Department. So I have.
All right, y'all, let's get into some more news.
This family has been filling and filling their mill food recycler for a week now.
Canada continues to strike back against the despicable Trump regime and its agents in the United States and in Canada, like that despicable ambassador, Pete Hoekstra, who continues to attack the sovereignty of Canada every day. Let me show you what went down as Pete Hoekstra, that vile thing in Canada, beclowned himself up there yet again, and the people of Canada, they're just beyond furious at this point, but they see weakness when it comes to Hoekstra. They see weakness when it comes to this Trump regime. Let me show you what went down. First, I want to give a hat tip to Mark Miller, Canada's Identity and Culture Minister, because his speech went under the radar. Let me just show you what he said about Canada. It was amazing on Canada Day. Then I want to show you how Pete Hoekstra was responding to the pride in Canada on Canada Day. Also, pride itself, and to see Prime Minister Mark Carney out there beloved by the people. One of the things I love too about Carney's Canada Day speech is when he recognized how hot it was and made sure everybody was hydrated and safe. It's the small things as well that makes Canada such a big, great nation, and how Donald Trump has reduced what America can and should be. First, let me show you over here, Miller. Here's what he had to say about Canada's never been a loud nation, but do not mistake our mild manner for weakness. We kneel to nobody, Donald Trump. Here, play this clip.
We've never been a loud nation. Well, actually, we have, like during Sunday School by Stephen Eustachio. That was loud. But let no one mistake our mild manner for weakness. We kneel for nobody.
And here was his kind of final call to action.
But you must not be talking about the Strait of Hormuz, goddammit. You nailed on that one.
About how from all these different areas of Canada, our cultures, our diversity is our strength. I'm going to show you this, and let me show you this Pete Hoekstra guy just absolutely flail. And as you know, Hoekstra has attacked the Midas Touch Network over and over again. He wrote to Charlie Angus, who leads Midas Canada, and Angus is like, Hoekstra, go on Midas Canada, but Hoekstra's too scared to go on Midas Canada. He's intimidated by Charlie Angus. He's a coward. Here, play this clip.
From this celebration to Kluani, we live in the best country in the world.
From coast to coast to coast, Canadians carry their history with pride, rooted in our heritage, our cultures, our languages, and our deep connection to this land. In this vast country, Canada Day gives us a chance to come together and celebrate.
Happy Canada Day.
All right, let me show you what Hoekstra had to say. He did go on CBC. Again, he's too big of a coward to actually speak with Charlie Angus. Wouldn't you all want to see that? Why don't you all email Hoekstra and say that you're a coward for not wanting to meet Angus? Why don't you write to him over at the embassy in Canada and say that Charlie Angus wants to interview you, coward?